Using scenarios and implications. Scenarios are one of the most popular and practical foresight tools because they allow us to easily convey complex possibilities to a wide range of stakeholders. While there are many methods for creating images of the future, scenarios are arguably the most accessible and useful because they provide contextual narratives that help stakeholders imagine implications from changes that can unfold in alternative futures. Although organizations may use different types of scenarios, foresight scenarios are meant to be used as a mechanism for understanding possibilities, not as a set of pre-designed plans ready to execute based on events. As the first substantial deliverable in a foresight project, where people can begin to imagine possible futures, stakeholders can sometimes become very attached to a set of scenarios. However, scenarios are only meant to serve as a foundation for building out implications, options, and a strategic approach. Whether you create scenarios using archetypes, a 2x2 matrix of uncertainties, or another method, they are only useful when you use them to apply foresight thinking for strategic decision-making and planning. Understanding the implications, or the so what, of each scenario is critical to making scenarios useful. Implications follow a format of, if this happens, what else may happen? One way of uncovering this range of implications is through a futures will. To do an implications analysis, start with a single scenario. Or, if you're in a workshop, you can break participants into groups and have each group do an implications analysis on a different scenario in your scenario set. For each scenario, identify key changes, the things that are unique or different about the scenario from today. Next, look at each key change and consider the implications of that change, making sure to go out to at least 3 levels of implications. Although you can do an implications analysis on your own, it's a good idea to work with a diverse group of people to get a wider range of implications. Here are a few tips to remember when creating your implications. Assume the previous implication happens, then ask, what might happen as a direct result of this? It's okay for implications to repeat across changes or contradict with one another. Weird and obvious implications are okay too. Be sure to include both positive and negative implications, and be as specific and concrete as possible. Once you have determined the implications for the key changes in each scenario, the next step is to develop strategic questions and options. A strategic question example might be something like, should we invest in AI model training for development solutions? Options are high-level strategic responses to the issues that could be faced in the future. The goal is to provide specific potential actions that could be taken to address each issue and opportunity. Steps that an organization can begin taking now. Let's look at an example to illustrate this process. As a UNDP strategist, you are working on a scenario where there is an emergency water situation triggered by scarcity. One implication might be an increase in transboundary conflicts within the region. Another implication might be that the impact on agricultural outputs and potential employment loss in agriculturally dependent communities. Surfacing these implications might allow stakeholders to brainstorm strategic options on how UNDP could respond to these specific implications. Some strategic options might lean towards UNDP support for the building of a cross-sector ministerial engagement amongst countries where water scarcity is a social, environmental, security, agricultural, and health challenge. Another strategic option could be that UNDP could experiment and microtest promoting less water-intensive economic opportunities. These options are specific actions that can then be translated to a set of recommendations and a plan, or a roadmap, to implement various aspects over time, as part of an existing planning process. Mastering this process and implementing it into your planning can take some practice, but the rewards for that work are better supported decision-making and planning that takes into account the often hidden implications of a strategic process. More information, templates, and resources are available.